I gave my future mother-in-law 3 days to pay me for a new wedding dress, or else I show the family a photo of her wearing it. My wedding is in 6 weeks, and I've been planning every detail for months. My dress was the one thing I was most excited about. This gorgeous ivory gown with lace sleeves that I'd saved up for over a year to buy. It cost me $1,200, which was huge for someone working at a dental office. Last Saturday, my fiancé Mike asked me to drop off some wedding programs at his mom Linda's house while he was at work. She wasn't home, but Mike had given me the spare key weeks ago to help with wedding prep stuff. I walked into her living room and almost had a heart attack. There was Linda standing in front of her full-length mirror wearing my wedding dress. Not just trying it on, she had it completely zipped up and was posing like she was the bride. I stood there frozen for like 10 seconds before she noticed me in the doorway. Her face went bright red and she started stammering about how she just wanted to see what it looked like. I asked her how she even got it since I'd left it hanging in my closet at home. That's when she admitted she'd used Mike's key to my apartment earlier that week while we were both at work. She said she was just curious about the style and wanted to make sure it would photograph well for the family pictures. I was trying to stay calm, but then I noticed something horrible. There was a huge red wine stain down the front of the dress, like a massive splash that covered the entire bodice. Linda saw me staring and started making excuses about how she'd just been having a small glass while she tried it on. I asked her to take it off immediately so I could see how bad the damage was. When she unzipped it, I realized the stain had soaked through the fabric and even gotten on the inner lining. This wasn't something that was coming out with a little soap and water. Linda kept apologizing and saying she'd pay to have it dry cleaned, but I knew this dress was ruined. The fabric was delicate silk, and wine stains on white material are basically permanent. I told her she needed to buy me a replacement dress. She laughed and said I was being dramatic, that dry cleaning would fix it, and I was overreacting about a little spill. When I showed her how deep the stain went, she said maybe I could just wear a different dress since there wasn't much time to find another one. That's when I pulled out my phone and took a picture of her still standing there in my destroyed wedding dress with a wine stain clearly visible. She tried to grab my phone, but I'd already saved the photo. I told Linda she had exactly 3 days to transfer $2,200 to my account for a replacement dress, or I'd send that picture to every single person in Mike's family, including his dad, his sister, and all the relatives coming to the wedding. She said I was being unreasonable and that families work things out without threats. I reminded her that family members also don't break into each other's homes and destroy their wedding dresses while drinking wine. Linda tried calling Mike to complain about me, but when he saw the photo and heard what happened, he was furious with his mom. He couldn't believe she'd gone to my apartment without permission and then ruined the most important dress I'd ever bought. 2 days later, Linda called me crying and said she'd transferred the money. She begged me not to show anyone the picture because she was too embarrassed about what she'd done. I told her the money was enough. I wasn't trying to humiliate her, just replace what she destroyed. I found an even more beautiful dress at a boutique downtown for the exact same price. When Linda saw it at the wedding, she came up to me during the reception and said I looked stunning. She never mentioned the whole incident again. Mike and I still laugh about it sometimes. His mom hasn't asked to borrow anything from us since then, and she definitely doesn't have a key to our new house. The best part was when Mike's sister asked me where I found such a gorgeous dress. I just smiled and said it was a last-minute replacement that worked out perfectly.